SPHD versus SCHD. Which ETF is better? That's what we're going to find out in today's video. But before we do that, if you're new here and you never see my channel, my name's Elliot and I upload videos about investing, the stock market, and I do updates on my own portfolio, which is on the Robinhood app. So if that's something you enjoy, give this video a like, subscribe, and let's jump right into it. So my phone should be coming up right about now. And first up is SPHD. And SPHD is the Invesco S&P 500 High Dividend Low Volatility ETF. This index consists of stocks from the S&P 500 index that have historically provided high dividend yields and lower volatility compared to other stocks in the S&P 500. SCHD is the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, and it tracks the performance of the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index, which is composed of US stocks that have a track record of consistently paying dividends. And for SPHD, you can see it was launched on 10/18/2012. SCHD was launched on 10/20/2011. SPHD has an expense ratio of 0.30%. SCHD has an expense ratio of 0.06%, which when you're comparing these two ETFs, that is definitely one thing that sticks out is that expense ratio. So just keep in mind when it comes to expense ratios, you want to try to keep those as low as possible. For the 1-year chart, and this is the price return chart, SPHD is up 6.86%. SCHD is up 11.23%. The 3-year chart, SPHD, it's not even up a full percent. SCHD is up 7.41%. The 5-year chart, SPHD is up 2.26%. SCHD is up 51.91%. For dividends, SPHD has a dividend yield of 4.35%. SCHD has a dividend yield of 3.37%. So SPHD does pay a higher dividend yield. The 4-year average yield, SPHD is 4.31%. SCHD is 3.28%. The dividend rate, SPHD is $1.90. SCHD is $2.67. Looking at the dividend growth for 3 years, SPHD is at 1.67%. SCHD is at 8.56%. Dividend growth for 5 years, SPHD is 2.56%. SCHD is at 11.80%. Years of dividend growth, SPHD has 2 years, SCHD has 12 years. And one thing that really sticks out is the way that each one of these ETFs pay their dividend. SPHD pays monthly dividends, while SCHD pays quarterly dividends. So finding an ETF that pays monthly, or even a stock that pays a monthly dividend, is a little bit harder to find. The performance for the 1-month price, SPHD is up 2.24%. SCHD is up 1.59%. The 3-month price, SPHD is up 2.91%. SCHD is up 4.32%. The 6-month price, SPHD 9.14%. SCHD 10.70%. The 9-month price performance, 8.30% for SPHD. SCHD is 11.91%. And as we go longer and longer out, you'll see that SCHD really starts to run away with it. Year-to-date price, SPHD is 2.45%. SCHD is 3.94%. 1-year price performance, SPHD is 7.55%. SCHD is 11.70%. 3-year price performance, SPHD 2.38%. SCHD 9.90%. 5-year price performance, SPHD 3.48%. SCHD 53.65%. 10-year price performance, SPHD 49.83%. SCHD 116.85%. Concentration and risk. The number of hold-in, SPHD has 52 hold-ins, while SCHD has 104 holdings. And that's one thing that sticks out about these two ETFs as well. So SCHD does offer more diversification, being that it has more holdings. Assets in the top 10, SPHD 26.14%, SCHD 39.30%. So a few similarities between these two ETFs is both are dividend focused, and both are great for investors seeking income in the form of dividend payments. A few differences between these two ETFs is SCHD does offer more diversification, being that it has more holdings. Another difference is when they pay their dividends. SPHD pays monthly dividends, while SCHD pays quarterly dividends. Another difference would be their expense ratio. SPHD has an expense ratio of 0.30%, while SCHD has an expense ratio of 0.06%. And just remember, it's very important to try to keep that as low as possible. So which ETF is better? My winner is SCHD because it offers more diversification, being that it has more holdings. It has an overall better track record with dividends and growth. And it has a lower expense ratio of 0.06% compared to SPHD's 0.30%. So if you found this video helpful, take the time to give it a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below. What's your thoughts on these two ETFs? And do you own either one of them in your portfolio? And we'll see you next time.